Hello and welcome to another week of my book club. My name is Shasta Roberts and we are reading my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. This week we are on part 2, the reasons I decided to leave my marriage, and we are on reason number 4. I gave it my all. 10 years is a long time. And by the end of 10 years, I hope no one is the same person as they were at the beginning of the 10 years. You should always be growing in knowledge, experience, and just overall life fundamentals. I anticipate everyone, for the most part, has a desire to be a better person and have a better life. I know I have always thought that way, but what I didn't realize is that you can only change yourself. You cannot make anyone else change. When you live so long one way, it is hard to change your thoughts. You must want change. You must hunger for it, or else things won't change. You won't change. Your life won't change. There have been times in my life where I made little changes, course corrections, if you will. I corrected bad spending habits as well as corrected ways I was parenting as a new mom. Each change, I have found someone I looked up to show me the way. They didn't know it, but I thought about them when making my decisions. I thought about my father-in-law, who is now set for retirement. He has a stable income coming in from rental properties, and money is not an issue with him. He doesn't know it, but I think about him when I think about my finances. I want to be able to retire well and live well like him. I'm surrounded by some amazing moms. There are 2 moms that really stood out to me. They never yell at their kids, and one of them could even count 1, 2, 3 in silent on her hands, and her kids would listen more than if she spoke it. I wanted to be a mom like them. I wanted to change and be gentler and more caring like them. I did. I changed in both of these ways. They were small, easy changes, but they have changed my life enormously. Most people don't remember me being a more yelling type of mom, or that we lived in a super small house with 2 kids because we couldn't afford more. I can't say I never yell at my kids now, but I do have the mom look that shuts them right down. I can even count 3, 2, 1 on my fingers in silence to my 4-year-old, and she will do what is asked of her. Begrudgingly, but she does it and knows what I am asking without having to yell at her. Everyone has these small moments in their lives where they choose a change. Find someone that lives the way you want. Take mental notes and figure out how to simulate it in your own life. If you look back on your life, you will probably be able to think of a few scenarios where being around someone else made you choose to change. The people you surround yourself with most make up the person you are. If you surround yourself with people you feel have life more together than you, it will push you to take their example. There are also times in our lives where we know big change is needed and we prepare for it. You move to another state, you accept a new job, you get married, you have a baby. There are lots of times we change because we are growing with life. We make big choices to improve our lives. These big choices are not easily made. They are well thought through and carefully considered. Big choices don't adjust things in a small way either. Your life will then be uprooted in ways you cannot even imagine. Ways you cannot prepare for. Our emotions are a tricky entity that comes with life. You can never prepare for how you will feel. You will process your decision emotionally. How you process your decision emotionally can only come after the decision is made. With each passing decision after that, you psychologically change. One big decision creates more than a handful of small decisions that will congruently follow. This is what happened to me. I made one big decision that led to small decisions, which led me to another big decision. I made a choice to decide to love myself. I went on a route to do that with ways I thought were a good place to start. Turns out I was right. Losing weight and loving the way I look was a great place to start. It didn't just change me, it changed the way I viewed my relationship and the way I approached it as well. It made me confident in myself. When I didn't love myself, I wasn't open enough with what I needed out of my marriage. I had this thought process that if he doesn't know what I need, then he doesn't know me. If he cannot read my mind, then he isn't paying enough attention. I know I am not the only one who does this, and it is not giving him a fair chance. I didn't want to be someone who played games, but I was. Instead of outright sitting down and saying, we need to ... insert what you need here, I said nothing. I could have said, I need you to be more present when you are home. I need you to focus on being healthy. I need you to recenter your life. I need you to open up to me and not use me as your emotional punching bag. For years, I didn't have a face-to-face talk about things that needed changed. We would have a yelling match when it got so bogged up that it boiled over. But never once did we have a calm sit-down talk about what we needed changed. It could be a small or big change, but a change that could help our marriage. It wasn't until I changed myself that I saw all this clearly. The times I did try to open up, I was shot down. Christmas was always a hard season for us. I would keep a running list of things he wanted all year. I might not have gotten the right brand or color, but I was close most of the time. I was in the range of things he wanted. It just might not have been the exact thing. It was not like that for him. He would demand a list from me. If I refused him or didn't know what to put on it, he would tell me how unfair I was being and how could I expect him to know what I want. If you know me well enough, you shouldn't need a list, is what I always thought. You should know somewhat of what I want or need. If you don't, that is a time to learn and take notice, instead of wanting an easy way out. When I did give him a list of ideas, he would say that I was wrong and that was not what I really wanted. What he got me, he thought was better. I grew up with Christmas being a pretty big deal. I didn't get presents any other time of the year except for my birthday and Christmas. In my marriage, I've never expected presents any other time of the year except for my birthday, Christmas, and Mother's Day. Sometimes you just want to feel loved, and those holidays are a great way, an easy way, for someone to go the extra mile to show you how much they do care. I don't care about the monetary value of an item. A present to me is defined as an item made or bought with thought and care for someone you appreciate or love. I just want to feel special once in a while. One Christmas, I asked for only diamond stud earrings and made it very clear I wanted nothing but studs. I was giving dangly earrings because he liked them better. Another year, I very, very clearly asked for a small light table. When I didn't get it for Christmas, I was surprised because he complained he didn't have enough ideas. When I asked him about it, he said I really didn't need or want the light table. Now, I might seem ungrateful, and you would be right if I wasn't required to give a list of specifically what I wanted, and then was told I didn't know what I really wanted. I might be ungrateful if I asked to be bought gifts all the time, which happens to be one of the 4 love languages per Gary Chapman, and still wasn't satisfied. I feel like I don't ask for a lot. I haven't asked for special dates or a surprise trip. I plan the dates and I plan the trips. All I've asked for is 3 days a year to have my husband show up for me. All I wanted is for someone to love me enough to go out of their way to show me. I haven't asked for anything I am unwilling to give in return either. We have a hard time having even a small civilized conversation. We have never been able to sit down and talk face to face about life, about the world, or our future. I talk about my dreams, but not how I want to get there. The past, that's an easy one to talk about, since you cannot change anything. So what is there to argue over? What's done is done. When I started feeling great about myself, I wanted to change my marriage to be a great marriage too. I noticed something needed to be changed to help my marriage, but I could not figure it out. I'm so thankful for all my friends I can turn to who lend me support. I have a small list of friends that know pretty much everything in my life. I was able to turn to them for an outlook different than mine. I was able to ask tough questions, and in return, I got tough answers. I let them know I wanted to take on the task of helping my marriage. I wanted to know what was wrong with my marriage and why I wasn't happy. What wasn't I doing right? Because nothing had really changed since our wedding day. I sought out ways I could be a better wife and partner. I got exactly what I needed to hear, but not what I wanted to hear. I could not try to fix our marriage without him being on board too. I could not assume he would want to fix our marriage or try just because I wanted to. I needed to be straightforward with what my plan was. So that is what I did. I took the biggest problem we have, fighting, and started there. The book, The 5 Love Languages of Gary Chapman, had been recommended to me. Since my husband has a hard time finding time to read, I bought the audiobook so he could listen. Anyone can find time to listen to an audiobook, especially if it is needed. I prepared myself to confront him for the first time ever in our relationship about how really unhappy I was. I didn't exactly sit him down, but I did ask him if we could talk, so I had his attention. I let him know straight up this was not the marriage I dreamed of. I didn't like the way we fought and how much we fought in front of our kids. I stated we needed to fight for our marriage to make it last, and I had found some ways it might be helpful. I asked if he was willing to do the work as well to change our marriage for the better. Like I knew he would, he agreed and said he wanted to have a stronger marriage, but didn't know where to start. Thankfully, I already found the road and knew where we could start. Imagine that. When we both committed to not arguing, we stopped arguing. We started having small conversations without it turning into a fight. Things seemed to really be getting better. We weren't there yet, and there still seemed to be underlying issues. I made sure I wasn't holding anything back anymore. I became more open about how everything made me feel. I needed to stop worrying if it would hurt his feelings and let him know what my feelings were. I was committed more than ever before to change our marriage for the better. Not a little better, but a lot better. I knew there were more things I could do to contribute to the relationship, so I worked hard at those aspects. The two main things were having dinner prepared and our sex life. I know he loved a nice dinner after a long day's work. Although I was already cooking 4 to 5 nights a week, I stepped it up to all 7 nights. Even on the days I was not home because of sports or Zumba, I made sure dinner was ready to go in the crock pot or for him to pop in the oven out of the fridge. Everything was decided and started. It might just have needed finishing. I'm not sure if this was a good decision or not. It did make him happier and less stressed, but it fed into him being dependent even more than before. Nor did I receive extra thanks for taking stress away from him. The second thing he complained about most was sex. I hadn't been initiating very well. The problem is, my emotions weren't in it when it came to sex. I was heartbroken about so many other things I talked about in part 1. It was hard to want sex. Women need to start being seduced in the morning for sex at night. If we were never touched, shown love, or talked sweetly to, we won't be in the mood. No more, I told myself. I'm going to be an overachiever from now on. Whether I'm emotionally wanting sex or not, I was going to make sure we had it. I made sure sex was happening on more than a regular basis. I made sure it was different each time and there was some new foreplay involved. Even brought back some old foreplay. I was making it happen more than I ever had with him. Again, I was let down. I didn't know it until much later, but his mind was on other things. Although he liked to complain to me about our lack of sex, I feel he didn't really want to have sex with me. When I stopped going out of my way to initiate sex, we then went months without sex. Although The 5 Love Languages is a great book, it did not solve all of our problems. Finding the right books for our marriage was like finding a needle in a haystack. Not all marriage books are a one-stop shop. It has taken me more than a couple dozen marriage books to be able to see our difficulties more clearly. On our 10-year anniversary trip to Italy, I realized I had still been trying to save our marriage, and he stopped months ago. We were not hand in hand anymore. He was so far behind on trying that I couldn't even see him. The conversations we constantly had about wanting to have and try for a better marriage was going in one ear and out the other. Here, I was giving it my all for months, and he couldn't even make it past a month. He had given up a while ago. I continually tried to be a good, attentive, and passionate partner. I didn't hide behind a wall and think our marriage would fix itself. I didn't even try to fix it by myself. I asked my husband if he wanted to help, if he was willing to try, and if he wanted to have a better marriage. Although he said yes at the time, his actions spoke louder than words. He changed nothing and did not even try to make me happy. In this scenario, I can with all my heart say he did not try. He has admitted to me that he didn't try and was afraid and scared to try. A team cannot work if one person constantly makes excuses for why they're not doing their job. Trying and failing is a reason you might not succeed. But not trying at all is an excuse of why you didn't succeed. I've tried everything I can to make this a better marriage or better relationship. Marriage is not a one-sided relationship. I at least can now say I really tried. I stuck it out for 10 years, and the last year I tried my butt off to find ways to make our relationship work. I'm exhausted in my marriage more than I'm exhausted being a mom. That is saying something right there. I know that I have done everything I can. Without a partner who wants to make a change, nothing will change. If someone doesn't love me enough to try, then this relationship isn't worth saving. All right, that is another chapter. Please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you think of the chapter. If you subscribe to the channel, it will show up in your feed when I post a new chapter every week. But if you hit that notification bell, it'll actually notify you on your phone of when I post the chapter, so you can stay up to date on the chapters and read along with me. I will see you guys next week for another reason of why I decided to leave my marriage. Thanks for joining me. Bye.